Good morning. Today I'm going to have a video here of how to multiply radical expressions and how to use what's called conjugates. I'm going to try to make it quick. I apologize ahead of time if you hear Mickey Mouse Clubhouse in the background. I usually try to record these when my daughter is asleep, but our internet would just not work with us yesterday, so I'm trying again now. So, guys, you're doing the same thing when you multiply expressions that you would if you just did two things multiplied by each other. When you multiply things with radicals, you can only actually multiply the numbers if they're both inside the radical. If they're not, they just kind of get stuck together. So let's change the color here. So when I do radical 5 times 4, that would just be 4 radical 5. And then I would do radical 5 times 20. So you would just do basically 20 times 5 inside the radical, and then there's a minus sign there. So that would give me radical 100. So then, if you notice, 100 is actually a perfect square root. So I'm going to change that. So this is 4 radical 5 minus 10, and that's all you can do. Remember, again, this is just a lot of simplifying. There's no solving involved on these ones. So then let me give you a different one. So let's say I have one where they're both a binomial. So let's say I have 7 radical 7 plus radical 2 times radical 7 minus 3 radical 2. All right, so you have to remember how to multiply binomials when you're doing a problem like this. So you take the first term and you multiply it by the first term of the second one. So radical 7 times radical 7. We learned that when you have the exact same radical multiplied by each other, it comes out as whatever that number is, because it'd be the square root of 49, which is just 7. And then we have square root of 7 times negative 3 radical 2. So you multiply what's inside the radicals and what's outside the radicals. Since this right here has a 1 outside, it's just negative 3 still in the front, because 1 times negative 3. And then radical 7 times radical 2, which is radical 14. Then let's change my color here. So then we're going to take the second term and we're going to multiply it by the first. Radical 2 times radical 7 is radical 14. And then radical 2 times negative 3 radical 2 is negative 3 radical 4. But again, when you see these numbers that are the same, the square root of 4 is obviously 2. So I can just change that part to a 2. And since it's right next to it, and put it in parentheses like this. So let me just kind of simplify some things I have here. So negative 3 times 2, that's negative 6. I got a 7 right here. I can actually combine these two guys. So there's negative 3 radical 14s and 1 radical 14. I put that together, that's negative 2 radical 14. And then your last step is to combine the constants as well. So I have 7 minus 6. So your final answer would be negative 2 radical 14 plus 1. All right. And I think I'm already getting kind of high on the time, so I may post another one on conjugates. Just keep posted for it, because it just kind of depends on how fast this one wants to upload. If not, I'll just give you all that one next week. It's not a big deal. Hope you have a good day.